woman once had a perfect, happy family. On her birthday, she received a gold ring from her husband. For an ordinary family, this was an expensive gift. But today, the woman also received a proposal ring from her first love. Her first love wanted her to abandon her husband, to abandon her child and run away with him. Looking at her loving husband and well-behaved daughter, she couldn't bring herself to abandon them. Then the police came knocking. They arrested Suya's father on suspicion of murder. Dad didn't even know who the victim was. He was clearly being framed. Maybe it had something to do with the woman's first love. Suya explained to the police that Dad was with her at the time, but it was no use. The woman completely panicked. She felt like her world was falling apart. She said she believed her husband was innocent, but in her heart, she thought about the promise to her first love. She didn't want to live her whole life with the reputation of being a murderer's wife. Suya shouldn't have to live like that either, so she decided to leave for 3 days first. In reality, she wanted to get her first love's permission first, then come back for her daughter. The woman was still fantasizing about her future life with her daughter, but an accident happened. That was the last time Suya ever saw her mother. From then on, she lived with Aunt Mi Hyang and her daughter. In high school, Suya changed her name to Cha Youngwon. She attended the same girls' high school as Ju Youngchai. Youngchai, who came from a wealthy family, had much worse grades than Youngwon. Even her graduation project was plagiarized from Youngwon's work. Youngwon had been somewhat proud, but it all vanished the moment she saw her father. After getting out of prison, Dad couldn't live in this neighborhood anymore. The laundromat couldn't stay open. The family had no income. Youngwon had no choice but to swallow her pride and borrow money from Youngchai. This incident had always been a pain in Youngwon's heart. Before and now, Youngchai's brother actively apologized. But this wasn't what Youngwon wanted. If anyone should apologize, it should be Youngchai herself. Youngwon had always been the ideal girl in Youngchai's brother's heart. Ever since mom left when they were young, Aunt Mi Hyang had been taking care of this family. Youngwon truly acknowledged her aunt from the bottom of her heart. Now she even called her mom. She gave all her wedding funds to her aunt. Since she doesn't have anyone to marry right now, she might as well show filial piety to them first. Her aunt was deeply moved. All these years of caring for each other hadn't been wasted after all. Seeing the vice president in the magazine, Youngwon finally realized that the vice president who had always been kind to her was also Youngchai's future mother-in-law. That meant the other party also thought she was Ju Youngchai. Things seemed to be getting more and more complicated. At this time, both received first-round interviews. The result was as expected. Only Youngchai passed smoothly, while Youngwon was eliminated. Design was the only thing she could be proud of. But now it seemed her skills weren't good enough either. Youngwon was deeply affected. Hearing Youngwon crying so sadly, Youngchai also pretended to be upset, regretting that she shouldn't have been so pleased with herself.